tier 4 tier list for more robots. And there's actually going to be 2 parts, because as you can honestly see, not only is there not an updated PNG version for the latest robots, but for the fact of power scaling as well, completely different here. There's been talks of Pixonic adding a tier 5 anyways, is what you can figure would make more sense to put the rest of the more powerful robots in tier 5. So I will be doing a part 2 of this, mainly being a tier 5 tiers, including ultimates, all the latest robots, and stuff like that. So, getting started with this one, I'm going to be playing Angler first. Angler overall, in my opinion, one of my favorite bots. Very extremely useful in PvE. Its ability is very similar to Ravana. Not only clears all negative effects, but also does damage as well with AoE, and also speeds up during its ability. It has great defense. It even has a built-in physical shield. It has pretty decent firepower. Pretty much an all-around robot you should have, definitely. If not in your main hangar, at least the hangar that you'll be using for PvE, one of them two. Very resourceful robot, even after the nerf. Honestly, it's even compatible with some of the higher tier robots, or more powerful robots, depending on what setup you're using. Just going after the base robot by itself without any patterns like that, I will definitely put this in S tier. Useful for all game modes, including extermination, or PvP, as I call it. And just overall very well-rounded robot, which is very cool. The skin too, this is very cool. Next up, we have June. So, a very classic robot, one of their OGs. I remember people were shredding Tiny back then. This Avenger, playing June. Very good robot back then. Unfortunately, it was kind of falling out of pedestal after a while. Honestly, it's still pretty useful though. Also, it's just like in PvE, its ability has a built-in flamethrower, which, if I remember correctly, also adds DOT damage over time. The ultimate version does explosive damage, but either way, it's still a pretty good robot, as long as you know how to use it right and distance yourself, especially with nowadays people can see with stealth. Overall, I would put June in A tier. Honestly, yeah, no, A tier is pretty good, because not only just because it's powerful, but just the resourcefulness. You get cornered with a bunch of the Grey Swarm. You could just tap into an ability and get rid of all of them in seconds. Very good robot. One of the OGs. Unfortunately, died. Not as much as it used to be. Ares. The Great Pantheon robots. More the literal robot ingredient mythology, and that's the Ares the God of War. And not exactly an OG, but if I do remember correctly, these came out, these purple shield bots came out in 2016, 2017. So honestly, it's still kind of old, but overall, when you're talking about power scaling, which is overall usefulness, resourcefulness, it can be quite a team player when you have your ability on the purple shield, unless they have shield breaker or in the lower lanes, it's much more useful. You can share room with your teammates to hide as cover. Use your shield as cover. damage is then multiplied into your built-in weapon, which fires back. Overall, not really useful in PvE because it has shooting weapons are aiming for the direct or the environment type of weapon. But regardless, it can still be pretty useful. I'm gonna go ahead and take the feature. It's if we're being honest, it's like both these. Your defense honestly isn't that great because the initial counter abilities is more so just on the run. They have pretty great offense. As I said, they're both Titan Slayers, so it means something to look out for if you're looking just to get rid of Titans and these guys. Two really good Titan Slayers. Overall, both of them have pretty good firepower. Defense is pretty poor, if I'm being honest. And their speed is decent, so this is where I place those two for now. Behemoth, the OG sniper. Big OG with 4 weapons for anybody else. Not even going off of bias, just going off of stats. Even if you don't have the pilot, just having 4 heavy weapons alone, maybe the greatest firepower back then. Yeah, it was pretty much unrivaled. Anyone, if you told anyone back then to watch out for 4 bright lights, he would pretty much get scared. Anyone back then that played would know that 4 trench buckets, nightmare. Either way, nowadays it's still pretty useful. It's just, it is pretty slow, especially if you don't have the pilot. So it's something you gotta look out for. But overall, it has pretty great durability. Its defense is pretty good. Of course, one of the greatest firepowers still in the game. And overall, I would give it A tier. Not necessarily useful in PvE, but I guess the extra weapons can help because if you're running something, for example, like Avalanche, yeah, that is basically a very OP combo in extermination. So Avalanche or Fire or stuff like that. And this is where I'm going to place it because we're not just talking about extermination, we're talking about all the components. And Behemoth, unfortunately, is just too slow to higher tiers. Blitz. Shredder, OG, an OG robot, one of the first robots with the energy shield, his ability to side forward. Great firepower, well not necessarily great because it does only have 4 light weapons, but it's 4 weapons regardless, nevertheless. And its breaking ability still does quite a bit of damage, especially with lower leagues, lower tiers, and honestly, quite touch. Blitz is a great beacon runner, great assassin, just overall really good robot. Unfortunately, no, it is just a little bit too squishy. It does actually have quite some quite enough durability and its 20% ability does kind of make up for it, but still, some points, to be honest, is not. Even then, when any robot then you could just use to lock down. Once you lock this thing down, it's pretty much over. The only problem is trying to lock onto Blitz. Overall, it's a great beacon runner. It has decent defense or durability, decent speed, decent firepower. So overall, A tier. Prices. One of the things I hated the most back then, I think it was like 2020, 2021 during the pandemic, just those Reaper weapons. Even without Reaper weapons, anything that can just camp, stealth across the map, still shooting. Honestly, but I'll give credit to what it is. Yeah, it's still pretty deadly, even on today's battlefield. Running something like Gauss, Nucleon, stuff like that. But it is pretty squishy though. It has 4 heavy weapons just like the Behemoth. It has its stealth ability. The only issue is it's not necessarily fast and it's very, very fragile. So overall, it is a great sniper, but just too big, soft to handle any close encounters. Crisis V2. Next up is I almost forgot it. I think it's called the Curie, or just Cure. So we're playing S tier solely because of its ability, its speed during that ability, and also gathering more durability while its ability, especially this setup here. Regardless, even without the weapons, it has two built-in cannons, and has great durability, has great speed, great firepower. Just overall very useful bot on the battlefield, and extremely useful on PvE as well. You put those cannons down on the ground and you will shoot up all of the gray swarm while you can take cover and replenish your durability. Next up is Dagon. I think if I remember, yeah, probably just the one and only, not the first, but the one and only robot with 6 weapons. I'm not just talking about built-in weapons, but actual weapons. It has 6 weapons, like this type of robot. I'm not really sure where to put it because it is still kind of fragile. Because even though if you put it into the lower tiers, it will probably be more invincible because not many players are aware of shield breakers and things like that. And his ability is simply broken when it comes to energy shields. Quickly replenish its shields, has great defense when creating those turns, but its durability is lacking. It has decent speed, great firepower. Overall, if we're using, I guess, the highest calculations, the highest tiers of this robot, certain setups, because of how many weapons it has, I'll actually go into the S tier, because you can put so many different combinations, just different weapons, adding different effects. You can literally put rust, explosive, DOT, lockdown, suppressive, leiming, all kinds of things like that. So overall, Dagon will actually be in S tier. Next is the Wrap. I'm not even going to call it a Orochi, I'll just call it a Wrap. It's honestly just quite nearly a Wrap. I'm going to put it in B tier, way too squishy. It has great, phenomenal speed in its ability. Honestly, I think this actually has great firepower. It's just that this thing is literally dying unless you have the max of the great setup. It might survive, but we're not talking about modules, drones, and pilots. This is just the base setup. So only getting B tier. It is a pretty great beacon runner. It's really fast. And of course it's stealth can allow it to sometimes gather that. Next is the meter, and again, personally another favorite robot of mine, solely because of its support role. You can teleport to pretty much anywhere on the battlefield as long as you have 500 meters range to another teammate. One of the OG medics, very great robot, decent firepower, speed, it's actually kind of sneaky, just a little bit. And of course it's healing helps with that as well. And also one of the few robots that hover. So that's also something that you can see factor when it comes to movement speed and just overall mechanics of maneuvering the robot. Very easy to use, very easy to learn, and just overall great support robot. And this could be used in all types of modes. Not necessarily useful in PvE or extermination, but its shield can give you defense for some time if you run any kind of healing weapons. I guess it's useful there too. Next up we have Erebus. One of the great camper robots, just the prices. Pretty much all I can say is Prisma. Prisma is God. That's the majority of players that use this. Prisma is God. Pretty great robot still, honestly, because built-in function, it has a built-in bomb that also applies DLC damage and also turns off all abilities and modules and stuff like that. Just for a short time. Kind of squishy, but it does have an energy shield to make up for it. It is quite defensible. It's just that even though its firepower is good, its speed is meh, its defense is decent, but it's something that you want to keep at bay or just keep at a distance. Pretty much just like everyone else would want to camp. If you are going to be approaching at 1v1 troops like that, it's better to make sure you have the ability already. Something, of course, built for close combat. Overall, Erebus is pretty useful in terms of team gameplay, especially when it comes to EMPing Titans. For example, Mauler do not have their mothership ready already, of course. They're going to EMP it and have another Titan on your team, try to take it out. Overall, still pretty useful today, especially when it comes to the ending, so I'll give it that. But not really special. Next up, Fafnir. Used to be extremely busted Fafnir. One of the biggest Titans at that time. Just overall, another triple shield robot. Its ability is very similar to Ares, but also has a built-in laser weapon, not necessarily like Ares, more of a directed laser. Overall, great firepower. It is very tanky, has a lot of defense, when it's on the ground, has decent durability, decent speed, just a pretty good robot. Venue, we don't even have to see anything. He's underrated, I would say, in my opinion. It's definitely competitive master. Even in the merge, it's very useful. Not a triple shield robot, built-in weapon, pretty great firepower, pretty great speed. It is a little squishy, but overall, it's quite the sassy robot. And even in just 1v1 close combat, very, very strong. Something definitely out of this case out here. Next is I forgot this one. I think this is because there's a duo, I guess a twin version of this, but I just can't seem to remember. If I remember correctly, this is trying to remember real quick. Well, either way, I don't know its name, but it looks like this. If you see it in this shop, this is the name. Not the name, this is the robot. It has a reflector ability, and it also has, I think, built-in shield breaker. I think that's only with the pilot. Regardless, very, extremely useful in PvE, as its explosive ability gathers effect, and the very big AoE attack. I think it's called Sandstorm, like that. Regardless, very useful. Even in team death matches or just overall team gameplay, you can just shoot one ability on the enemy team and collect a whole bunch of explosions between all of them, as long as you're within the AoE radius. But it is still a pretty fragile robot. It has decent firepower. Its speed is not special. So actually, overall, I'm gonna go ahead and put these here along with its twin. Oh, here we go. So this is Siren. I still don't know this one. Anyways, onto the Ha. I said Ha, not Hawk, OG, Science Slayer, Big Laser, pretty great firepower. You know, its speed is pretty great too. As I said, it is pretty squishy. When it does come to Titan Slaying, it slays. That's something it's really good. It's good at what it does, and overall pretty strong when it comes to Titans. Iron robots though, you're kind of want to make sure you're fully covered. Overall though, just based off of its Titan Slayer status, I would actually, honestly, I would give it A tier. You can use a buffer too, but honestly it's still pretty good. Miyuki, S tier. This is a really great support bot. Pretty much any support bot within tier 4 is an S tier solely because of unique abilities. I honestly don't have much to say about it. This is overall a great robot. Vader, one of the Rainer robots, great for future running or invading users. I gave it A tier because although it is one of the easiest robots in the game, its firepower is lacking. It does have a suppression built in device, so that doesn't count. Speed is decent, but it's something that you would only rely on when it comes to taking over vehicles. So now let's go to now. Next is another spider robot actually. I remember correctly it goes by the name of I think it starts with a C, but I just can't seem to remember. All I remember about this robot is people running Gauss on it, and it has a built-in cannon too, if I remember. It's not Wayland. Wayland is a tier 3 robot. This is I don't even remember. But yeah, regardless, I'll be giving it a B tier. It does have an energy shield, as I've said, built-in cannon. Great firepower, decent speed, but it's squishy. Its ability isn't that special. And it can do damage, but nowadays, if we're being honest, it's not that much. Kefri, probably one of the most annoying metas in the entire game, especially with the tiny boss. Something that even now you still have to watch out for. It has decent firepower and it has 4 light weapons. Also another levitating robot, which is why. Pretty great speed, also a support robot. So I'll actually give it S tier because of the latch on the other teammates. And you have not only a healing bonus, damage bonus, but a speed bonus as well. Very useful. Guided with Leech. I'll be doing Leech here. Honestly, slowly because there's so many counters now to the ability. It's sad. DOT damage, all the ultimate weapons, Titan weapons, Reapers, Boss. They're just simply overpowering me because it's too fragile. Even with the 90% still something not to be underestimated. So anything honestly that matters. Yeah, it could be useful maybe 1v1 close combat situations when you latch onto an enemy and they'll take most of the damage. But overall, it's honestly not even that useful in PvP because as I said, even if you don't have these, the rest of these similar manner as one of these 4 PvE and team battles to either support your own team or invade a group. Each is more one-on-one situation, or even a 2v1 for that matter. Regardless, still pretty great robot, OG back in the day, but it is going to be given a B tier, very squishy. Next up is the Wrath 2.0. I'm not even going to say anything about this. To be honest, it's just another rat. So rat 2.0, very great looking rat. Yeah. Mars, the first robot that has a global turret. Overall, when it comes to team deathmatch, very useful if you have a max. Just annoying enemy team. You get a couple of kills without having to be direct line of fire. Pretty squishy robot. It does have a replaceable energy shield, so that's something to look out for. And of course, it also has great speed. And yeah, just overall great firepower, great speed, but its defense capabilities is not all there. It's probably on the same tier. Next up is the Nether. I guess all I can say is it's a very speedy void. Very great for beacon running into multiple dashes. Has a force field, which has been nerfed, so that's something that you should take caution on. But it does have 4 light weapons, so it has decent firepower. Durability is lacking a lot, but it has a force field to make up for it. Great speed, really very useful, beacon running. Not sure about the deathmatch or close combat, but not necessarily useful for PvE either. So that's something that you want to take into account. Alright, the next one, I'm going to try to speed it up more because we are approaching half an hour, so I will do these pretty much faster and faster as we still have quite a lot left. So, Nightingale, support robot, pretty fast, pretty great team, battles, and also like bonus suppression. That's here. Approaching, even after the nerf, still very cheeky robot, great for close combat, 1v1, and just pushing people off the map. Unfortunately, nerf and its abilities are not existing, but also a tiny slayer nonetheless. Actually, then again, because if we're counting its ability, it can be useful in PvE because of its explosive attack, because it has an AoE explosive ability. So honestly, I can give it that because of the PvE resourcefulness. Next up, Pathfinder. Probably one of the greatest support robots. His ability is very useful, and of course, very powerful. Great speed, defense is net, but it has great firepower. Phantom, very great beacon runner. Not that much firepower, but it is a very speedy boy. So, boy, it's here. Raptor, not much else to say. Whenever I think of Raptor, I think of hamburger. So we'll put it as here. Havana, here we go. Back right here, right next to England. Remnant, extremely tanky robot, one of the tankiest robots. Has has 2 built-in shields. Ability is very busted, especially when paired with the right engine. Has one of the highest durability, base durability in the game. Decent firepower, decent speed, definitely a great robot. Scorpion, not even teleporting robot, great assassin, probably honestly one of the greatest assassin robots, also one of the most annoying. So, seraph, very useful for PvE, it's built-in weapon at up to I think 600 instances at once. Anything without something drone and lasers, it's pretty much wraps for extermination. Even in just normal team deathmatch, very useful when invading beacons. So I'll put this right next to the video. Next is Shell. Big explosion, big shield, big health, decent firepower, and decent speed. Pretty great for PvE. Shenlu, or I guess this we could just call it a green cockroach or grasshopper. Jumps all over the place, annoys the hell out of everyone, and yeah. Skyros, probably the greatest beacon runner. Can take a lot of hits in its ball form. Great speed, decent firepower. You know, pretty great defense here. So I'll just stop that for now. Go ahead and continue. So this is how it's stacked up so far. And then lastly, the last one will be Python. 4 medium weapons and a built-in EMP weapon, very similar to Airbus as they actually both have a energy shield or a yellow shield, both for EMP or blackout, that is what we call it. And in terms of comparison, both pretty much have about the same type of firepower. And of course, also just very squishy. Both their speed is decent, but nothing really special. So yeah, this is overall how we're ranking it, and actually really got it. So this is how we stack up. This was just part 1 of tier 4 because technically in the next video will be tier 5 on ultimate robots, more OP robots. Overall, this is how we stacked up. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can comment down below, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, if you want to take a screenshot, use this, and that's about it.